Before we begin, take a second to imagine this. A massive stage, bright lights, thousands of eyes watching, judges known for crushing dreams with a single look, and one ordinary man walking out with dusty hands and a nervous smile. No fame, no followers, just a voice no one expected. This is not just a performance. This is a moment that reminded millions why dreams never ask for permission. Welcome back to the channel. If you love real stories that inspire, shock, and stay with you long after the screen goes dark, you are in the right place. Today's story is about a man who carried bricks for a living, but carried music in his soul. A singing bricklayer who walked onto Britain's Got Talent and completely stole the show. The day began like any other for him. The same early alarm, the same heavy boots, the same ache in his back from years of hard work. He was not famous. He was not wealthy. He was someone people passed by every day without noticing. A bricklayer. A man who built walls for other people's dreams while quietly holding on to his own. Music had always been there for him. Not in fancy studios or concert halls, but on construction sites, in empty rooms, and during long drives home. Singing while laying bricks, singing to drown out the noise of machines, singing because it made the day lighter. But singing was never supposed to take him anywhere. That is what the world told him. Then came the decision that changed everything. Auditioning for Britain's Got Talent was not part of a grand plan. It was a risk, a terrifying one. He knew the show's reputation. He knew how quickly judges could dismiss someone. He knew how cruel the internet could be. Still, something inside him said, if not now, then never. Walking into that audition room felt like stepping into another universe. Bright lights, cameras everywhere, judges sitting like gatekeepers of destiny. The crowd buzzing with curiosity and doubt. And there he was, dressed simply, looking more like someone who came to fix the stage than perform on it. When he introduced himself and said he was a bricklayer, the reaction was exactly what you would expect. Polite smiles, raised eyebrows, that unspoken question hanging in the air. What is this guy doing here? Even the audience seemed unsure. They had seen hundreds like him. Ordinary people with big dreams that often ended in disappointment. No dramatic backstory. No flashy image. Just a working man with a hope. Then came the moment that mattered. The music started, and everything changed. From the first note, the room shifted. This was not a hobbyist voice. This was not someone trying their luck. This was raw, powerful, emotional sound pouring out of someone who had lived life the hard way. His voice carried years of struggle, quiet nights, unspoken dreams, and songs sung when no one was listening. The audience froze. The judges leaned forward. Smirks disappeared. Doubt vanished. Something real was happening. Every note landed with weight. It was not just technically good. It was honest. You could hear work-worn hands in that voice. You could hear the weight of responsibilities, the sacrifices, the moments when life could have crushed him but did not. As the performance continued, people in the audience began to react emotionally. Some smiled. Some held their breath. Some wiped away tears without realizing it. This was not about perfection. This was about connection. By the final note, the room exploded. Applause filled the theater. Not polite clapping. Real, thunderous appreciation. The kind that rises instinctively when something special happens. The bricklayer stood there, stunned, as if he himself could not believe what he had just done. The judges' reactions said everything. Faces that once showed skepticism now showed genuine admiration. They spoke about surprise, about talent hiding in unexpected places, about how moments like this are why the show exists. For him, it was overwhelming. A man who spent his life blending into the background was suddenly the center of attention. Not because of who he knew or how he looked, but because of what he carried inside. But the story did not end there. As the competition went on, he faced new challenges. Pressure increased. Expectations grew. He was no longer the unknown bricklayer. He was the singing bricklayer everyone was talking about. And with that came fear. Fear of failing. Fear of proving the doubters right. Fear of losing what he had just gained. Behind the scenes, he was still the same man. Nervous, humble, grateful. He talked about his family, about long days at work, about never imagining his voice could take him this far. He did not pretend to be something he was not. That honesty made people root for him even more. Each performance felt like another brick laid in a new foundation. One built not with cement, but with courage. Sometimes the performances were stronger. Sometimes the nerves showed. But the audience stayed with him because they saw themselves in him. Someone ordinary daring to be extraordinary. Online, his audition spread fast. Millions watched. Comments poured in from around the world. People talked about how his story gave them hope. How it reminded them that talent does not belong only to the privileged or polished. That dreams can survive in the most unlikely places. For many viewers, he became a symbol. Proof that it is never too late. Proof that your job does not define your worth. Proof that the voice you hide might be the one the world needs to hear. What made his journey truly powerful was not whether he won or lost. It was that he walked onto that stage at all. He chose courage over comfort. He chose to risk embarrassment instead of living with regret. And that is why he stole the show. Because while others came with confidence and preparation, he came with authenticity. While others tried to impress, he tried to express. And that difference was felt by everyone watching. Long after the episode aired, people still talk about him. Not just as a contestant, but as a moment. A reminder that behind every uniform, every ordinary title, there may be something extraordinary waiting for a chance. Some returned to their own forgotten dreams after watching him. Some picked up instruments again. Some applied for auditions they had been too afraid to try. All because one bricklayer decided to sing on a stage that terrified him. So the next time you think you are too ordinary, too late, or too unnoticed, remember this story. Remember the man who built walls by day and broke expectations by night. Remember that the world is full of hidden voices, and sometimes all it takes is one brave step forward to let them be heard. If this story inspired you even a little, let it be a reminder. Your background does not limit your future. Your current life does not cancel your dreams. And your voice, whatever form it takes, matters. The applause eventually faded, the lights dimmed, and the stage that once felt like a dream slowly returned to reality. But for the singing bricklayer, life was no longer the same. Walking off that stage, his hands were shaking, not from lifting bricks, but from the shock of what had just happened. He kept asking himself the same question over and over again. Did that really just happen to me? Backstage, surrounded by crew members, cameras, and other contestants, he felt out of place. Everyone else seemed confident, excited, already imagining the future. He was still trying to process the present. Just hours earlier, he was an ordinary man with an ordinary life. Now his audition was spreading across television screens, phones, and laptops all over the country. That night, when he finally returned home, he did not sleep. His phone would not stop buzzing. Messages from friends, coworkers, and people he had not spoken to in years filled his screen. Some were shocked. Some were proud. Some admitted they never knew he could sing like that. And that realization hit him deeply. For years, he had hidden this part of himself, even from people close to him. The next morning, he went back to work. Hard hat on. Boots laced. Bricks stacked. But something felt different. The same construction site, the same routine, yet the looks were no longer the same. His coworkers teased him, not cruelly, but with disbelief and pride. They asked him to sing. They joked about autographs. Beneath the humor, there was respect. They had seen him on that stage. They knew how hard it must have been. As the show continued, the pressure grew heavier. Each round demanded more. Bigger performances, stronger emotions, more confidence. And with every step forward, the fear grew too. Fear of letting people down. Fear of being exposed as someone who just got lucky once. He practiced whenever he could. In the evenings, after long days of physical labor, when his body begged for rest, he still sang. Not because producers told him to. Not because he wanted fame. But because singing was the one place he felt truly himself. The judges noticed something special about him. Not just his voice, but his sincerity. He did not perform like someone chasing applause. He performed like someone telling the truth. That honesty came through every time he opened his mouth. One performance, in particular, changed everything again. As he stood on stage, lights low, the crowd quiet, you could feel the tension. This was a make-or-break moment. The song he chose was personal. The kind of song that forces you to open old wounds. As he sang, his voice trembled, not from weakness, but from emotion. You could hear the years of sacrifice, the dreams delayed, the life lived quietly for others. When the final note faded, there was silence. A deep, heavy silence. And then the audience rose to their feet. A standing ovation. The judges were visibly moved. One spoke about how rare it is to see someone so real on that stage. Another said that moments like this remind everyone that talent does not come from privilege, but from passion. For the singing bricklayer, it felt unreal. He was not trying to become a star. He was just being himself. Online, his story exploded even further. People shared clips with captions about hope and second chances. Parents showed his performances to their children. Workers saw themselves in him. He became more than a contestant. He became a symbol. But symbols carry weight. As the competition narrowed, doubts crept in. He wondered if he belonged there. Surrounded by younger, more polished performers, he sometimes felt like an outsider. A man who accidentally wandered into someone else's world. Yet every time he stepped on stage, he reminded himself why he started. Not to win, but to be heard. When the journey finally reached its end, whether he advanced further or not mattered less than what he had already achieved. He had changed his own story. He had proven to himself that his voice deserved space. That his dreams were not foolish. That courage could rewrite a life. After the show, opportunities came. Interviews, invitations, offers he never imagined. But the most important change was internal. He walked taller. He believed in himself. And no matter where life took him next, he knew one thing for certain. He was no longer just a bricklayer who sang. He was a singer who once laid bricks. And his story continued to inspire anyone who ever felt invisible, unheard, or too ordinary to dream. Because sometimes, the greatest voices come from the quietest lives. Thank you for watching. Stay inspired, stay brave, and never stop believing that your moment could be one decision away.